Okay, welcome back to another day of Ori. Really just one race of Ori today between Vulajin and ogNdrahciR, otherwise known as Richard. Just say Richard, it's way easier to say. My name is Gramelios, and I am joined with the one and only Trojan dude.
Hey, what's up, dude? How's it going?
Trojan, do you want to tell us a little bit about this race we have coming up?
All right, awesome. Well, so we have a race between the current projected 2 and 4 seeds from the Hollow Grove group, and this actually has some really interesting implications if the upset actually happens here. Mainly because Kyrfell's last race is against Elo, and Elo is like extremely far ahead as far as PB is concerned. There's still a pretty big discrepancy in this one, but this is probably a little more of a chance of of an upset happening, and it could really like shake up with like the 2 and 1s or like the 1 and 2s. So we'll have to see what goes on with that.
Absolutely. It's actually kind of funny. Earlier this afternoon, Vulajin took the time to post this whole paragraph block of all these stats about what would happen if Richard were to upset Vula, or later if Kyrfell were to update Elo. And keep in mind that the way we do our rankings in this tournament is in the group stages here. Your placement 1, 2, 3, or 4 is primarily based on your win-loss. So for example, Elo is probably going to take 3 and 0. He might not, but he's probably going to take 3 and 0, which would put him at the top of his group. Vula probably going to take 2 and 1, which would put him at second. But if there is a tie, for instance, if Richard were to upset Vula here, then it comes down to average race times. And so it's sort of interesting when you look at the stats. It isn't just, well, who do you think is going to win? You have to look at, if someone does win, if someone upsets, what times would they need in order to change their average race times enough for it to matter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I know for both of these guys, they want to put on the best shows they possibly can, as you can see from what's on the stats are still on the screen. Richard has put up mid 40s for his 2 races, and I know he wants to get something that's in the lower part, around his personal best or even a PB. And Vula has been always shooting to be around a 36 essentially, and he got that in his race against Elo. So I'm sure he'll want to do the same thing again, if not get a 35. And another thing that I want to bring up about Vulajin's setup, he is actually going to be doing a hybrid with controller. Not only does he do KBM for the save anywheres and multiple portions of the run, but he is actually going to be switching between the Razer Wildcat and the Xbox One Elite controller because of his configs and stuff. He won't be able to use LB for Light Grenade later, and he's gonna actually switch it up when I believe he goes to Feather. So that's something that he may do stuff a little differently. You might be able to notice.
Vulajin definitely taking the hybrid approach to extremes. He's going even further beyond. It's not just controller KBM, and it's not even just all the pieces of hardware that Trojan mentioned. He's also using 3 pieces of software to manage remapping buttons on his 2 different controllers, if I remember that information correctly. And he's going to be actually, to play with the 2 controllers, he has to physically switch one to the other, and he's going to be doing that around Feather time when he has that little cutscene that you can't skip.
Yep, exactly.
So I guess from a viewing perspective, you probably won't really notice much of a difference, but I'm sure Vula, is going to have to be kind of scrambling to make sure that he has all of his input devices in order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So I think we should be getting this underway, I think, relatively soon.
Yep, our countdown is actually about to start. So after stream delay or whatever, you will be seeing this race get underway. As with any Ori race, I'm sure you've all watched a lot of them at this point. Probably won't be too much discrepancy from the first little bit here, probably up to wall jump. Now, I really, really hope that neither of these runners takes a death to wall jump. Those are just very demoralizing, I think. Mm-hmm. But there's not really much to say in the way of strats up to wall jump. There are very, very minor things we'll be seeing larger route differences, or not route differences, I should say strat differences, once we get more into the run.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing about the wall jump split is that the experience routes, everyone does their like slight differences in that, but really the general movement is pretty similar. There's not really anything different you're going to see from the runners too much. And it's really once you get more to like around BRB and then afterwards where you start to see a little more distinctions in movements.
Mm-hmm. So we've already talked a little bit about the bracket, sort of the implications of this race, and we can touch on it again as we go on, since it's sort of a lot of information to keep track, even for us. But I'm kind of curious. I don't really have any specific questions here, but in terms of like, what can we expect to see out of these two runners? For instance, Richard, we've talked about in other races, has been very, very involved in this tournament. He's been handling restreaming. He put together the overlay and the stats screen, and he's been doing all kinds of things for this tournament, which unfortunately has not given him a ton of time to practice. However, this past weekend, he actually had more free time to practice, and I think he just did a run before for this one. So yeah, I think, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say is that since about Friday night, like he's actually been able to get multiple streams of runs, and so maybe we'll see an improvement from him here. This far, maybe he'll PB. You never know with like all the practice that's going through.
I hope
Vulajin actually takes an extra. He's got to be careful now because he just took an extra damage. Actually, he jumped over, so he's fine. He's still at 2. Normally, like there's a lot of people who will actually damage boost right after the Frankie fight. There's a little bramble right there that's actually a little faster, so you don't have to go for the frame perfect jump. And so usually if you took that damage right there, it'd be a little bit hairy, but you should be fine.
Yeah. Vulajin with a very slight lead going in. Also, can I just say I appreciate that they both did the color code. It's a cheat code that you can do in the game. Has no gameplay impact whatsoever, but
no. Richard did not wait for the slime shot to go down. He accidentally takes a death right there. And that's what you're talking about with taking a death right there. That really hurts because everything is slower movement in the first few splits. So when you die, depending on where it is, it can really, really hurt. All right, and we see Vula has been taking a little bit damage in some spots you wouldn't normally see from a lot of runners, but he's still doing okay. He's on pretty solid pace right now. I think on pace for like a 325 wall jump, so we'll see if he can close it down.
Yeah. So Vulajin looks like, yeah, I guess he's going to be leveling up on the way up. Richard, really, really sucks to see that early death. I guess we've already covered that. Vulajin's on his way to wall jump, and then he's going to be making his way towards Blackroot Burrows. We talked about how Richard has had a bit more time to practice. Vulajin has been practicing this game pretty much non-stop. You know, this has been basically what he's been streaming for a while now over the course of this tournament. I know he's had some frustrations when it comes to like any speedrunner, you have very high expectations of yourself and you really want to PB, and this is a really hard video game and Vula's time is good, which means it's harder to beat. So I'll be curious to see kind of how he performs in this race and how much of that we might be able to attribute to his mindset if he makes mistakes, which he hasn't yet.
Yeah, and that kind of goes that's an interesting point, because since he knows he's going up against the person who's, you know, generally pegged to go last in the group, I wonder if he'll be able to deal with... Oh, Richard accidentally takes another death right there on the last slide before wall jump. So he's already about 2 minutes behind at this point, unfortunately. And that's going to really... We're going to have to see if Richard can actually keep his mindset together as this race goes on. But, you know, I don't think Vulajin's going to be watching Richard right now. So we'll see how he does with his mindset the rest of the way, and whether we see any nerves in this matchup happen throughout the rest of the race.
Actually, I think Vulajin is watching Richard.
Oh, is he actually?
I think so, and I think that Richard is not watching Vula. So Vulajin, I guess, assuming that information is accurate, he is watching Richard, which means he knows that he was probably going to be ahead anyway, and he's definitely well ahead now. There's a lot of race left. You know, it is absolutely within the realm of possibility that Vulajin could make a series of mistakes. Richard could really clean up his play, but Richard with a pretty tough task ahead of him. No question about that.
Yeah, in order for him to have any shot, he's going to have to play the rest of this game really, really cleanly. So we'll have to see. I mean, starting off with the... Oh, and Vulajin actually makes a mistake. He makes about a 30-second mistake right there. So that's a little bit of that time from maybe the first death that Richard took that he's getting back right there with Vulajin's death right at the end of those spikes.
That's such a rough death. That platform in particular is very deceptive. I mean, this is a speed run, right? So you want to take these jumps just as optimally and quickly as you possibly can. But that platform in particular, you need to wait until you see it going down, or you won't have the height to clear the jump. And he missed it again. Thankfully, with enough help to survive.
Yeah.
So I mean, he'll be going through the rest of the section, and if he gets hit by this projectile, he'll be dead as well.
Yeah.
Commentator's curse. I should have kept my mouth shut.
Yeah. Oh, he just took another one too. So, you know, Richard's actually getting some of this time back right here. His death is now not nearly as costly as it was before. And Vulajin has now died 3 times to the projectile right here.
It's just such a rough death. The cycles in Black Burrow start when you enter. And so when you die like that, it tends to kind of throw off all the cycles that not only makes you slower, but I mean, you practice these things with the cycles. So when you don't have them, it becomes that much more unpredictable. And it wouldn't be as big a deal for Vula either, except that he accidentally just barely missed that one jump and took 3 damage, putting him at low health, which means that he's dying from these projectile shots on the first attempt. So he still has a very comfortable lead. But I mean, I'm sure Vula must be frustrated with that. It's frustrating for anyone.
Yeah, definitely. And Vulajin actually, he was jumping up and down because he actually missed another cycle also of the platform. So that's another 8 seconds that Richard got back as well. So, you know, I would have thought with those 2 deaths that Richard would be way far behind, but all of those deaths right there cost Vulajin about a minute, and that's about half of what Richard lost in the first split. So, you know, never say never in Ori. You never know what's going to happen.
It can be pretty unforgiving at times. Richard was able to sort of clean up. He got through his cutscene skip using Save Anywhere just fine, and he's going through Black Root. We'll see if he has any of the same troubles that Vula had, because it's right about this spot on Richard's screen where you have to dodge lots of different projectiles, make some pretty precise cycles. So we'll see if he has any trouble. If he doesn't, then, you know, that'll be great. It won't put him any further behind. And Vula, some unfortunate deaths, we'll see how it affects his mindset going forward. Thankfully, he does know that he is still ahead, because remember, he's watching Richard's stream.
Oh dear God, Richard!
That was close.
That was
real
ballsy. That was ballsy play, but yeah, I mean, he was gonna hit the same cycle anyway. But yeah, he went for it.
So Vulajin has Dash. You all know and either love or hate Dash, maybe both. He's going to be going to Frog Walk and then to the Death Gauntlets, which you've also seen 100 times, but this time there might be something different.
Yeah, we have heard that there's a little bit of a different strat and a part of it that apparently we'll all see.
It is. That's not even meant to be some like cryptic clue. I actually have no idea what they're going to be doing. Just I know they're going to do something different. Apparently, some new strat that saves time that they're keeping a secret for a dramatic tension, I suppose.
Yeah. So Vulajin's making good work of the Frankie Walk right now. Let's see if he can make it through the Death Gauntlet here upcoming. As Richard did actually do the quick orb drop right there, so he saved a couple seconds right there. I believe Vulajin did the same thing, so he kept pace with him. And we'll have to see if Richard can keep up, because he actually did not whiff almost anything, except for I think he just dropped 1 cycle.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh dear God, though. Oh no, and Vulajin dies. Oh no.
Oh my God.
Now it's only about a 20-second difference right now. This is insane. So that's an interesting strat right there. You go on top of that first crusher to dash glide over. And that's actually a really interesting strat. I kind of like it.
I like
Unfortunately,
it too.
yeah, unfortunately, Vulajin died right there, but that's some really interesting tech, and it probably is faster if you can make that dash glide and make the damage boost, because you have to take the time to kill all of those 3 brambles right there. So it's definitely faster.
Now, important to point out that I'm pretty sure Richard came up with this strat this morning. So, Vulajin, for all his practice, hasn't gotten to practice this part in particular very much. That is a fascinating strat. We'll see if he goes for it a second time. I'm guessing that he will.
Yeah, he will.
There
you go. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Faster.
Right,
that's definitely faster.
For sure, faster.
So now Richard's going to get his shot at it very, very soon. I'm assuming
Vul is at 1 right now. Oh, he didn't drop a save. Oh my God.
He tried. He tried to set the save. It just didn't land before he got into the danger zone.
Yeah, definitely. So Richard's got a chance to stay. Vulajin goes for early cycle and does get it. Very, very nice manip from Vulajin right there. Let's make sure he remembers how much damage he is at, and he does.
Richard
and Richard just died too. Yeah.
Well,
I think he was on the same strat as well.
Yeah, I mean this strat is new for Vulajin. It's also new for Richard. That's an unfortunate death. It does drop Richard back quite a bit further behind. He's opting for a safety save. Not a bad strat. Richard definitely had a chance to catch up with Vulajin's very costly death on that new strat, but with his own death, Vulajin again sitting at a very comfortable lead. Yeah,
definitely. So we're about at the same separation now as to what it was, prior to Vulajin's death before. So there's about probably a minute and 45 second separation still between the 2 racers at this point, as Vulajin is now going to exit Grotto and going towards Grotto skip. So we'll have to see how many tries he actually takes. He has gotten second try in both, so we'll see if the same thing happens. And
having a bit of trouble with it. Looks like a third try to me.
Yeah, so not too bad at all. Third try is pretty solid. I think if I remember correctly, it's supposed to be... Oh my God, Richard.
God, no! Not again.
Dies again. Ay.
I respect going for it again. I do.
Yeah. Let's see if he goes for it a third time, because he may just fall back on the more the slower, safer strat. So we'll have to see what Richard ends up doing here.
The sort of nice thing about Richard is that he seems pretty resistant to tilt. I mean, he's a very easygoing person, so I'm sure he's not happy with these deaths, but I doubt we'll really see it affect his play going forward. It's not like it'll change his mentality, I don't think. Yeah. Especially since this is such a new strat. It's not that they're going for the memes. The strat is actually faster. This time, by the way, Richard got a safety save, so he will be taking that. Yep, nice job.
Yep.
It's not that these strats are memes. They are actually faster, but because it was just discovered and because they, decided to hold on to that tech until this race.
Very nice.
I'm sure
that's
he's
what it's
at
supposed to be right there.
Yeah,
that's good job. Oh boy, well. All right, he's good. All right. And he should be able to take another save right here. Or he's not going to. He's still not going to, and he's just going to go into Grotto without saving. Okay, this is fine.
There's no safety in Nibel. We all know this.
Exactly. I mean, there's spikes, there's slimes that shoot spikes. The occasional laser can one-shot you as well.
There's even spikes that spin around on sticks, like on Vula's screen. What are you supposed to do against that many spikes?
You call him Spike Vegeta and ask for his advice.
All right, somebody get Spike Vegeta in here. Oh no!
Oh, Richard just...
Thank God for the safety save, though.
Yeah. So he messed up also, so he's just gonna die intentionally. So that's... Oh, he dies again. Yeah, he's not managing his energy very well right now. I think he's getting a little nervous now. You're starting to see a little bit of jitters.
Yeah.
Absolutely. From him. So, unfortunately, I think this kind of all but seals this at this point, unless something catastrophic happens to Vula. But We'll see if he takes a save this time. Unless he thinks that his Soul Link is down, I'm not quite certain.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, Richard made a small mistake. I don't think that in his mind he's thinking that he has to, you know, change his strat to do anything particularly drastic. He just kind of has to, you know, get through it. Vulajin, by the way, is having a surprising amount of trouble in this room of Ginso here. It's sort of similar to Blackroot Burrows in that it's very cycle-based right at the beginning with all these gamers that are walking around on these wooden cubes. And so if you make mistakes, it tends to throw off your cycle. And that's exactly what happened to Vulajin. He got through it now, again, still with a comfortable lead. I guess silver lining, if you could look at it that way, Vulajin might disagree with me on this, but the silver lining is that, remember we mentioned at the start of this tournament, if you look at the group rankings, if Vulajin beats Richard and Elo Jiminy beats Kyrfell, then Vulajin will be in second place, right?
Correct.
And it is, of course, I mean, this race isn't over. We could still see an upset. You could also see an upset in the Kyrfell Elo Jiminy race. But Vulajin, even with all these mistakes, has a very comfortable lead on Richard, and it's probably going to stay that way, just given the nature of this run and their skill levels. So Vulajin almost certainly still going to be walking out of the group stages here in second place. Now, his average race time does still matter for placement in the elimination brackets.
Yeah,
but
that's what the whole thing about average time and why you know, it was added as a metric for seeding for the bracket stage, where it's like, yeah, you can be a 2 seed, but if you did really well, you'll get a more advantageous matchup in like the round of 16 and also the round of 8 as well. So yeah, it's really important.
Definitely. I mean, it's nice because it makes every race matter, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
So after those kind of troubles in the start of Ginso, Vulajin seemed to have no problem. He's made his way over to Bash, so his movement's about to get way more fun. Richard looks like he had did he go for the blind movement? I actually missed it.
He did go for the blind movements as well. I didn't notice right there because I was looking at Vulajin if he actually took damage, but he did go for blind movement.
Okay, I think he accidentally got stuck, but he'll be coming up on his Grotto skip. Vulajin got it third try, so we'll see if Richard can do better than that.
Vulajin's going through the flower shot route. Oh, his flower shot actually went awry right there. So let's see if he gets it this time. He does. So now he's coming up to Keydupe, as Richard is coming up to Grotto skip right now, and he missed the first one, missed the second one, and I think he's trying to rush this a little bit.
Looks like it. I mean, I did mention earlier that Richard is rather tilt resistant, and I think that's, you know, an admirable thing in a runner. But there are other mental things other than tilt that can mess you up. You know, you might just sort of get anxious about it. You might just start overthinking it. You know, a lot of things could happen, and Richard has been putting in practice and everything that this is just, you know, a difficult game, and small mistakes can really add up, especially given our route. There isn't really a lot of room for safety saves around the frog walk area, and that's where Richard definitely lost a lot of time.
And Vulajin was having a bit of trouble with Keydupe right there. He actually missed it the first time and had to do it again, so he is bleeding a lot of time. It's really actually unfortunate that Richard had so many deaths going to double jump, because honestly, like, Vulajin's been making a lot of mistakes in this early game. And he's given a chance for Richard to actually have a shot at this race. But unfortunately, Richard had a lot of his own mistakes and more of them. So it put him really far behind.
Absolutely. Those early wall jump deaths were pretty costly. We talked a lot about Vulajin's control scheme, by the way. Just in case we didn't mention it explicitly, Richard is playing on controller the whole time. So not that makes any... It doesn't make much of a difference for a lot of things, but for instance, double bashes are very difficult to do consistently on controller, and on KBM they're quite a bit more consistent. Save Anywhere is better on keyboard mouse. There's really no debating that, and so that's why Vulajin switches back and forth. Vulajin did get his core skip, no problem, so that's good to see.
He did, but it was really close, honestly. The camera almost didn't pan all the way right there. So he's going to be exiting Ginso right now, as Richard is heading towards Ginso himself. He got his level up, and he's going to do some of the movement. Let's see if he is able to make the cycle in order to do the pull-out strat with the little rock coming up.
Do you know when the cycles start for those spinners?
It's not until this point right here where the swarm loads.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the only cycle is from that. So he's gonna try and go for it. And the 5 health. The 5 health.
Oh, that's right.
Ass. Oh, but never mind. He unfortunately took another death right there, and he's gonna have to go back and get this health cell.
These are some unfortunate deaths for Richard. We'll see how he does the second time. It's he sort of got stuck there. The pullout strats there, as Trojan mentioned, are very cycle based. Where often, if you make movement mistakes, it's better to push the rock in, because even though it's slower, it is a little bit safer. Alternately, excuse me, you can just kind of wait another cycle and try on the pullout strats. So he'll get another shot at it, see if he can get it the second time, and then he'll be able to work his way through Ginso Tree, which Vulajin has just exited.
Yeah, he's going to go get stomped right now, and well, that's fine. He places a save right there. Oh, I noticed he didn't place the save prior. That was interesting. Usually a lot of people put a safety save down there when you get to that Iceless region that he just got the level up in, because those spikes can be really hairy, and they will probably kill you if you take 1 damage.
Yeah, I wanted to point out, depending on your familiarity with Ori, these things might be more or less noticeable, but I'm very happy to see that Vulajin doesn't seem to be letting some of those earlier mishaps sort of... what's the words I'm looking for? He's not letting them get to him, in the sense that he's still doing faster strats. So I can't, read Vulajin's mind. I don't know how he's feeling, but he's still going for the fast strats. Like before Stomp, he took a damage boost, which is just very, very slightly faster than doing the traditional strat of wall jumps on the side. I'm sure that he'll be, going for the faster strats throughout the whole thing. Knowing Vulajin's nature, he doesn't want to let this game beat him. He really just wants to put on the best performance that he can, no matter what happened earlier in the race.
Yeah, exactly. He's really staying to the status quo in his route right now, which is good to see. Unfortunately, he trash bashes, but that's why you put a save right there over those spikes, because that's kind of a little bit of a perilous area. And then he should be taking another safety save that's coming up, as Richard has finally entered Ginso, and he is going through the cycle-based room with all these gamers. And looks like he is able to keep up with this cycle properly, that Vulajin had a little bit of issue with earlier.
Vulajin unfortunately missed his Kuro cutscene skip. It's easy to do. You have to bash pretty precisely through a cutscene trigger, and it's more precise in Definitive Edition than it was in Vanilla Ori. Yeah, I'd say if there's if there's a trick that can sort of suffer from being a little bit jittery, that might be one of them.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, Vulajin, I think, is tensing up a bit. He's making some normal bash mistakes that you don't see him make. But he made through it okay. He didn't fall into those one-hit spikes that are right there over that gap. And he's coming up on Charge Flame relatively cleanly right now.
Yep, Vulajin also skipped the 5th energy cell, so we'll see if Richard goes for it later. I don't actually know the definitive answer on whether it is faster to get the 5th energy cell if you play optimally, but I think even if 5 energy is faster, it's going to be so close that it still basically comes down to personal preference. Do you think that's an accurate way to put that? Yeah,
honestly, I think with some of the strats with the new XP route that has been developed, like coming out of Sorrow into Misty, I think that it's going to be really honestly close, but if anything, it provides you extra safety, since you'll have an extra energy to drop a safety save somewhere along the route, and that's really... it's priceless at some points in the run, because everything wants to kill you in one hit. So it's good to have that extra energy to drop a save wherever you please.
For this forest being blind, it's still pretty, accurate at just sniping you all over the place.
Yeah, dude, those slimes, they you think oh yeah, it throws 3 in all these weird directions and stuff. It's never gonna hit me, but most of the time it actually just decides to kill you. It's really impressive.
Yeah, they're military trained snipers. Vulajin is coming up on fast stompless, so if you look at the left side of your screen, you'll be able to see his attempt at that. He is doing this trick on controller, and it's harder to do on controller because you have to aim the bash, and like anything bash related, keyboard, mouse, wins.
It did look good though.
It did look like a good shot, but his job isn't done yet. He has to race away and grab a cell. Got it, nicely done.
Very good job for Vula right there. Yeah, that's definitely a little more finicky on controller. With the way that KBM works, you are actually able to point your mouse at a particular spot in the rocks, and that is pretty reliable. But you don't have that luxury on controller. So, oh, wow, that actually did not break it. That is surprising.
I kind of missed it. I don't want to ignore Richard. What are we seeing on Richard's screen as Vulajin is coming up on another very tough section of the game?
Richard just got to key dupe, and well, he unfortunately dies, but he drops the save right there to do key dupe anyway. But before that, he was going through the flower cycles, and I thought his shot was actually just barely high enough, but it apparently just hit. The bottom platform. Oh dear God, Richard. All right, we're good. And Vulajin unfortunately took a death at Sorrow Bash, so he's going to take another attempt at it right now.
He was extremely close. He just barely caught the top spike. Also, I believe it's about this point in the run when Vulajin picked up Feather that he switched controllers.
That is correct. He did switch controllers during that cutscene, where after he got Fast Stompless, that's where he was switching.
Now, this could actually be a problem for Vulajin. One of his charge dashes didn't take, which means that he'll be in energy low going into Sorrow Pass if I caught that correctly. We'll see if that causes any problems. Getting the double bash in, that was swaggy.
That was very nice, and on controller, it is much harder to do that. You're pretty much mashing, and you as some controller users say, mash and pray. So he realizes that, he goes to get the other energy crystal that's backup. And let's see if he continues.
He didn't make a safety save though. Oh right, because he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
Yeah.
That's right.
This frog really wants. Oh no! He died again. Oh boy. This is now getting a little hairier as Richard is going up on core skip right now. Let's see if he can get this on first try. So far, it looks pretty good.
Opting for safety strats, but I mean, better to get core skip.
Yep, so Richard does get core skip perfectly fine on the first try, so that's good for him, and he's going to be going through the escape. As Vulajin, this is his third time through Sorrow, second time, had 2 times of Sorrow Bash before that, and then died once right here. This frog kind of just does what he pleases, so unfortunately there's not much you can really do about it sometimes.
He's kind of a jerk. Actually, he's also a sniper, just like all the slimes. Looks like Vulajin had a lot more luck the second time, though. He's juggling the frog now, and going through the laser, he actually did a little stomp cancel version of it, which means that the frog has more health, which makes it a little bit safer and a little bit faster to do the rocket jump. That rocket jump.
Yep.
So he'll be getting through here. He finally gets a very, very precious save off in order to do save anywhere. His job isn't done yet. After picking up Sunstone, Vulajin's going to have to traverse a bunch of one-hit kill spikes to go get charge jump, but he doesn't have to do Sorrow Bash again. So there's that.
And I believe Richard ended up dying in the escape, which is why I believe he's still there right now. So Richard's really having a rough go of it in this race so far. I don't know if it's some of the jitters he's gotten from all those failed attempts at some of the new strats earlier or whatnot, but it seems to be starting to affect him a little bit right now. Vulajin's still being Vulajin. He's gonna go for these, fast strats, and just like right there with like air dashing and resetting it with the feather as much as possible. So it's obvious he's in a pretty good mental mindset, I think.
I think that, again, I can't read either of these guys' minds, but I think interesting things can happen, and you can kind of deal with these kinds of mistakes in a run in different ways. You could get so tilted that it maybe just messes you up and you can't play any better, or maybe you sort of get an opposite choke where Vulajin might be thinking he knows the mistakes that he's made already. Maybe he thinks, why not go for the crazy strats?
Vulajin takes those spikes that are right where Sour Bash happens, unfortunately. So he has to do this exit again. And he actually burned an energy right there by killing the slime. He didn't get the bash cancel, so he's got to... never mind. He died again. So that's not going to... He was going to have a possible energy problem. And he made the same mistake right there. So we'll have to see if he can settle down a bit and make the adjustments necessary once he gets into Misty.
Absolutely. On the right side of your screen, Richard is coming up on his version of Drainless, or Brainless, as we call the most recent strat for it. Oh, interesting. He made his save point down there.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's probably just... it's a little more safety, because then you can be you can guarantee you're going to be over the water a little more from that position. So if you're a little bit tentative from the upper spot, you can just do it there.
Yeah,
there's nothing particularly wrong.
No, yeah, that's just interesting. I've never seen the save put there. Now that you say it, like, yeah, there's no downside to it. I'm just not used to seeing it.
Actually,
nice jump by Vulajin, by the way.
Yes, that was very, very nice. But I think he burned his last energy right there. I think he's out of energy. Unfortunately, no, he's not. He has one left. All right, so that's good for him. He can still move through this pretty well. He decides to... Okay, he's gonna get a second energy just in case.
Actually, he did run out. The moment you said it, he still had energy, but then he ran out, and so he did have to take the extra.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. By the way, Richard also missed the Kuro cutscene skip. Unfortunately, Vulajin did as well. So that was a potential opportunity to gain time back, although given the way this race has been going and the lead that Vulajin has, Richard's prospects for winning the race are probably dead.
Yeah, and Richard is opting for 5th energy. He dropped the save right before he dashed over, which is a good save.
Yeah, it is.
For that reason there.
That reason. Yeah. Those spikes, I believe, are one-hit kill no matter how much health you have.
That is correct. Those are like some lasers in the game as well. They will just instantly kill you. As Vulajin's doing a bunch of stomp cancels and moving really freaking fast, and he is exiting after the 3rd keystone to go down into another very spike infested area right here. He did burn an energy right there, so I think he should be fine with the way that he sets up his energy, so that shouldn't be an issue.
Richard has picked up Charge Flame, so he's going to be heading over to do a cutscene skip on the Spirit Well at the Spirit Tree before heading towards Feather. I don't think we'll be seeing Fast Stompless out of him when he gets there.
I don't know if he's been practicing that at all. I haven't gotten a chance to see his practice recently, as Vulajin comes really close to hitting those spikes.
His movement has been fantastic in this second.
Oh, and there's the death. He's back at climb. Yeah.
You know what? You've got this. I'm going to stop talking for the rest of this race. My God.
That just, dude, you're just creating some grim circumstances. That's all I have to say.
I can't even be mad at that pun.
You're welcome, dude. I'm always here to help.
So with that death to the mini-boss, Vulajin was sent all the way back to climb. That's one of the unfortunate side effects of going for the super daring strats that Vulajin was going for.
Oh, yeah.
Is that you don't really make any safety saves. You instead opt to use all your energy for doing as many charge dashes as you can, and he just about had it. That mini-boss is just so finicky. Vulajin even went for a quick kill and just barely missed it,
Oh, good. Oh, wait, what? Okay, he did not mean to stomp right there, but now he is at 1 HP, and he's still doing his fast strats through here.
Vulajin is not going to let this game beat him.
No, exactly.
Richard, as we expected, is not going for Fast Stompless, especially because it is difficult on controller. The small upside to that is that he's going to be able to get Charge Dash early, which means that if he wants to, he can do Charge Dashes on some of these spiders, make it slightly faster than the traditional movement you have to do. Nice. Vulajin's going to be getting his second chance at the mini-boss anytime now, assuming he doesn't have any problems in the meatball tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Seems so good so far. There's one last defender. It's this wall bro. He does not spawn.
That wall bro. Sometimes he spawns right in front of your face and you hit him from 1 damage, which usually is nothing more than an annoyance. There we go. Nice quick kill by Vulajin. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, and he died again. Oh,
Jesus
gosh.
Christ. I swore I saw the second one die. I guess I'm seeing things.
he just wrote lol with his mouse right there. After that Misty mini boss death. Still trying to keep a good his spirits high after something like that. That's good to see from Vula.
I mean, he's not letting him, slow it down. He's going for all his stomp cancels. He's not making lots of safety saves. Again, that's sort of consistent with what we know about Vulajin's personality. He's not going to let it get to him.
There we go.
Or maybe it is getting it to him, but I mean, whether or not it's getting to him, he's not letting it change his execution. That's good to see.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see.
And he's probably going for this. Sorry, before you mentioned it, I think he's going for this because he knows he's got room right now with the way Richard's going, and I think that's why he's not letting up with these strats.
Yep, absolutely. I was just going to say we'll see how Richard's Sorrow Bash goes, but it went well. And so he is in here. He can use his feather, start floating up. He gets to do his own frog juggle and all of the wonderfully difficult strats in Sorrow Pass. He did opt for a safety save. Remember that Richard got 5 energy and Vulajin did not. So Richard's going to have a better opportunity for safety saves.
Yep, exactly. So it means he's not going to be taking a safety save here. Let's see. He's inching up and he's got it through the laser. Very nice from Richard.
Lasers are just suggestions.
Indeed. Yeah, no. I remember when that was first found, and I was like, there's no way that this is possibly consistent, but it actually is, surprisingly. Oh, he's going down here to reset the frog's health, so he is going to go back up. Interesting. Most people actually take the safety save on the platform right here, where he just bashed that frog shot, because it is faster to do it from there, or you do it from the little wooden platforms that he's bashing at right now. It's a very interesting strat. Which I think is good in case that he does not get the frog shot to follow him with the rocket jump. So it's really interesting take, and it's another one of those things that he has distinct from other runners.
It has been interesting. I mean, apart from the new strat that we knew was coming, that thing in the Death Gauntlet,
yeah, I've
seen a handful of new strats from both Vulajin and Richard. They might just be new to me, very minor things that I might not have noticed before, but it's very, very cool. The longer you spend with the speed game, you sort of just think this is the way the game is played. And it can be sort of tough to stop and think maybe there's a better way to do it. Like that Death Gauntlet. I mean, how long have we all been doing Death Gauntlet?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's faster.
I mean,
it's a faster strat.
Yep. You never know where you're going to find those small optimizations that save you a couple seconds.
By the way, I just wanted to point out Vulajin, I think, got the Yoka cycle. So I think he had pretty much perfect movement going through Blackroot Burrows again here. And he
actually did not get Yoka cycle.
He didn't?
He missed it. No, he didn't. He realized that it despawned, and that's why the laser actually, if you do not get the Yoka cycle, the laser will spawn right there. So hopefully he'll make an adjustment and not go for that again. But we'll see. I mean, he's been trying to go really fast. He does take the rekindle right there. Is he gonna go for it again? No. Okay. He realized the mistake that he did before, and all right. Nice adaptation right there. He uses the Frankie as his device of destruction to get up there.
Richard successfully has his safety save off. He's going to pick up Charge Jump, which means he's going to get to deal with the same shenanigans that Vulajin did. Remember that all these spikes before damage. Now, Richard does have 5 health, which means that he will be able to survive 1 spike hit if he, unfortunately does get hit. We'll see if he does. So it won't be quite as perilous as Vulajin's, but still pretty dangerous.
And Vulajin, unfortunately, Charge Dash Stomp canceled the wrong way. So he's going to do a backflip dash instead. And then he's going to take some damage from the falling slime. It's only 1, so he should be good to take another one.
Oh my
He really wants to
goodness.
kill that swarm. Apparently, he had a hit out for that swarm's family, and he was going to make sure it was completely dead. So, rip swarm.
Rip swarm. You will probably not be remembered until next run. So Vulajin gets to do everyone's favorite frame perfect trick. Door warp. What's your prediction?
My prediction
gonna
is going
throw it
to
at
be
you.
second try, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, second try.
I'm gonna predict third try.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see what he gets.
Just given that he seems to be a bit shaky.
And
Or
we're
first
both
try.
wrong. All right.
All right. Good job, Vulajin.
He's just really happy. He's like, I've already wasted enough time. I'm just gonna do a couple happy hops, right here before before going to rescue the forest.
Exactly.
Sometimes heroes have to get their excitement out. It's fine.
Exactly. So now Vulajin gets to do the final escape. Given what we've seen with his Misty Woods and everything, I'm sure we'll be seeing plenty of stomp cancels to try to move through this area. Will we see fish strats? I'm gonna guess. Oh my god. I'm gonna guess.
We're probably gonna guess yes at this point. He's gone for everything else. He's gotta be going for fish strats. And he should have. Yeah, I think he has 2 energy right now. Maybe 1. I'm not sure, but he definitely has enough. And so he's gonna go for it. Yeah. He's gonna try and double bash. Doesn't get it, but he should be able to get it on this, and he does. The fish is out of water. And will he be able to successfully get it?
Nice.
He does, and the swag C dash at the end, and he is holding right. GG to Vola. He just has to hold right for about another minute and 10 seconds, and he will be done with his race. As Richard just gets to climb right now.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats to Vula. It was a good job of him to not let the mistakes mess with his strats. He just tried to, play his own run. And although this is not a time that he will be happy with, I'm sure, he was able to finish it out. He was able to take his race victory, which means that he will have, that puts him likely at second place in his group. It is possible for him to get first place, I think, but he's probably going to take second place, which is what he expected.
Yeah. It requires Elo to really mess up against Kyrfel. And the thing is that's going to hurt his chances, I think, more now. I forget how the tiebreakers work. But now that he has this run that is really killing his average, it might be a bit more of an issue.
Oh, and I was actually wrong. It is impossible for Vulajin to take first because Elo has the head-to-head victory against Vula. So I was wrong about that. But he will take second place in the group, which is what he expected. Vulajin is complete.
All right. Richard realizes his mistake and he takes the rekindle right there.
Keep in mind that Richard has his 5 energy, so he's been making a fair number of safety saves throughout this thing, which is, a good idea because he actually just took a death after that keystone there, and he would have been sent back quite a bit further without the safety save.
Oh, nice save from Richard. He actually waited for the Frankie to go higher up. He's actually out of energy right now, so he's got to be really careful.
And he just has to improvise. You can damage these enemies by stomping them when they're in the ground. Oh no.
Oh, he took a unfortunate death right there at the Misty mini boss. Dude, that mini boss is the actual true defender of the run. Yeah,
it is. I mean, it's sort of funny because, if you've seen, there are actually more than one way to pretty much evaporate that boss. One of the strats called Bang Bang Pow, I think that's the right one.
Yes.
Kills the mini boss so fast you almost literally don't see it. And even the more traditional fast strat, Boom Boom Boom, you just see them very, very quickly, and they both just, evaporate. They just go away almost immediately. But the strats require you to get up close and personal with them, which means that if you don't execute those techniques correctly, you usually take damage, and they do 2 apiece. So they're pretty dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see if Richard decides to take a save. He does, but I think he's out of energy again, but he still took the save. Fortunately, bashing the guy doesn't do that much damage, except when you do it that way. Oh, okay. He actually grabbed the fireball right there.
You know what? It's dead. The mini boss is dead.
It is. It's
that's what matters.
Yep.
That's what matters. No more mini bosses today.
gives the door a couple pushes, and he is off.
Yeah. So, by the way, we should say as well that just like Vulajin has solidified second place, Richard will be taking fourth place in this group, which means that he will be seated in the elimination brackets.
He unfortunately he didn't rekindle a save after.
Every time I say something, it's wrong. Just kidding. We're gonna see the mini bosses again. These are the mini bosses. I'm actually surprised he's not taking the time to take the extra energy.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised on that too. I think it might be he's trying to go into the moment right here, and
maybe it's like a principle of the thing, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It might be. He did get a health drop there, so he should be at 4 right now. So he should be a little safer on the way out, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. So anyway, and I'm pretty sure I have what I'm about to say correct. The way that the placements work for the elimination rounds is it is primarily based on your placement in the group stages, first, second, third, or fourth, and then after that, runners are seeded based on their average race times. So as we mentioned at the start of this run, even if your placement in your group was pre-decided, was already determined by the time your race came about, there would still be value in your race because it can improve or make your average race time worse than it was before.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why you have to go into every race trying to get the best time possible, no matter what happens, because you never know what that 30 seconds will do for an average time that might get you a slightly better seeding going into the elimination stages.
Yep. So Richard is approaching his last skill of the game, Light Burst. Well, approaching the area that has it, I suppose. He'll take an intentional death here to glitch the door, which takes a little bit longer with 5 health. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Will he go for a swag light grenade strat after to skip? There's a slow zone that you'll skip right there, and we'll see if he actually does the regular dash glider if he does a shout out to the best ability in the game and uses a light grenade.
I was trying to think of something snarky to say involving that, but I can't. What you said was just sort of a joke in itself, so I'll just leave that. All right.
Damn. Thanks, dude.
Get to his point. You're welcome. You're welcome. He got the cutscene skip. He's going to go and get the skill. Burning some energy because he might as well, since picking up these skills of the trees fully restores all your health and energy anyway. Might as well use them. And now he gets to head over to Mount Horu. Vulajin got first try door warp, so Richard can't beat that. He could tie it, though.
Yeah, he can try for first try door warp as well. Oh, you know what? He had the cycle, though. So let's see if he goes for it again. No, he unfortunately... Yeah, you can't do that once you mess up your movement there, buddy. I like the effort. It's A for effort, sir.
Also, it's A for Ori's color right now. That's just a really satisfying color to look at. Both of these guys are like pink at the beginning. Oh my... He's just really going for it, isn't he?
Yeah, he just does. He gives no cares right now. And that time he made the cycle. There we go. Good job, Richard.
So yeah, so Richard, I mean, not done with his race. He's still going through, but there was definitely a lot of spaghetti, some different kinds of pasta in this run by both racers. Unfortunately, I guess the outcome is what we expected it to be. Like in just on paper, win-loss.
Yeah, and you know, I think that if for the elimination stages, I've kind of seen a little bit, but of what's going to be going on as far as like 2 and 3 seeds are concerned. But I mean, really, a lot of the 3 seeds have had a lot of improvement. So if Vulajin wants to have a chance to beat them, he needs to put out a slightly better performance than he did in this one, because with a lot of those third place runners now have like, you know, sub 40 times, and 40, and most of the time not a sub 40 might not cut it in those situations.
Yeah. By the way, Richard coming up on Mount Horu, so he's going to get his chance at door warp. Let's hope he can get it first try. It is a frame perfect trick. Also, getting word from the truck that Vulajin's projected seed dropped from 13 to 16 as a result of this race.
Oh, nice job. He almost exited out early right there. He almost pulled a ruse and does not get first try door orb. So we'll see if he gets it this time. All right. Come on, Richard. I believe.
You can do it.
You got it, bro.
Clearly, he can hear us and our encouragement, but we're helping somehow.
I'd like to think he could hear us.
Yeah. Someone tell Richard that we're rooting for him. Definitely having some trouble with Dora. Maybe Richard is shakier than.
I can tell he's mashing because you can see right there. He's probably mashing up and D-pad up. So it's really hard when you're mashing and not timing it. He does get it though. I believe that was 8th try. So let's see how he does with the escape now.
It's funny how tricks like that can work, where even though you're mashing, there's still, technique to mashing correctly, and there's muscle memory to exactly how you're mashing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of it's a bit of a finicky trick because there's so many ways you can go about it, and not everyone's brain works the same way, and so you just got to find what's comfortable for you, since it is a frame perfect trick, and it's more based on, as Richard just blows through all of his energy, except for one, which hopefully he'll keep the fish strats, but we'll have to see.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. Richard does, as you mentioned, tend to be a pretty chill person overall. Actually, no, he doesn't have enough for fish strats, does he?
Nope, he does not now, actually, because he had to burn half of it, so he'll have to do it regularly by skipping the trigger for Kuro at the end right here. So let's see if he
does he realize that he doesn't have energy?
I don't think you have the energy, bro. Let's see. Yeah, no, okay, he realized it. Unless he was trying to use that to skip the trigger, which was interesting. I have never seen that strat before, if that's what he was going for. It kind of made me think that, but yeah.
Well, he is
GG
out of
Richard.
the final escape. Yep, GG.
Yeah.
Definitely GG.
Yeah, that's going to be
GG to both of these guys. That was a rough race, but I mean, still finishing it out. And
they stuck with it, and they were sticking to their guns with strats. Like, I know Richard and I think Vula died once that new strat, or twice that new strat, and Richard died like 3 times, but he was sticking to it, with the new strat setup, and kudos for sticking with it. I know that he was pegged to be really far behind, and he could have changed it up and gone the safer route, but he actually was sticking to his guns with what he wanted to do, and played it out till the end.
Absolutely. And I think it's also important to note out, not to make excuses, but I mean, as you mentioned, Richard has had a bit more time to practice very recently, like in the past few days, but generally speaking, he's just been putting quite a bit less time into this game than other people, not for laziness, but because he's been spending so much time with real life and with restreaming the tournament and dealing with making graphics and stats and everything else, so he's been very, very busy.
Yeah, definitely. And I know he's probably going to look back at this race, and he's going to find the things that he messed up that he can adjust for the next one coming up in the pre-elimination rounds. Because it was kind of interesting to see, like, he was placing safety saves in okay spots, but then he wasn't utilizing them at weird times, and he wasn't able to keep track of his energy. So I think there's a lot of things he can learn from a race like this on, like, oh yeah, I use an energy here, I can make sure I hold on to it for like the simulated boss fight, or hold on to drop it this place, so and that's one of the cool things that I've seen from as this tournament has gone along. Since everyone's been getting equal publicity of the races, you can kind of take strats from other people and apply them to your own game, and that's a really cool aspect of it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think we should probably finish up here. I don't know off the top of my head whether we have more coming up on speed gaming, although we can check with the truck. What else do we have coming up for Ori in the next, let's say, few days or whatever?
So we've got a myriad of matches coming up. Tomorrow we have a couple matches. We have the rescheduled match between Hydra and Pyrox, or fifth iteration that he is on like Discord. That's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then right after that, we have Cheese Lover versus Brynhold, which is a really interesting race because Brynhold actually made the upset over Raziel in the first ever one of this group. And everyone pegged Raziel as the person who was going to win it. So if Brynhold can end up beating Cheese Lover in a current 1 versus Billy 3 matchup, if my memory serves me correctly, then Bryn's going to actually come out as the 1 seed, and he's going to have a more favorable matchup and might get to the round of 8 because of it. We'll have to see how that pans out for Bryn, but this is actually a really important race for him, and that's going to be right after that at 5 p.m.
Yep. So no more Org today, 2 tomorrow. Stick around on Speed Gaming, though. I'm getting word from our truck. We have some Mega Man coming up. So, stick around, watch that. Follow Speed Gaming if you want to watch more Ori tomorrow. And I think that'll about do it for us. Congrats again to both runners. And Trojan, it was fun commentating with you as always.
Yes, of course, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a good day, everyone.
All right. Have a great one.
Later.